ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
A historic and groundbreaking moment in the battle for global immunity to the coronavirus.
It's a new sort of possibility.
New possibilities and a new horizon as the first vaccines roll out in Europe.
It's a quick, painless jab.
I didn't know the needle had gone in until it come out.
Do you feel like you're part of history?
Yes.
Are you excited by that?
Yeah.
Now at 11, the lessons doctors here hope to learn when the doses are distributed in the States and what they say will be key to defeating the virus. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Virginia Cha. Big day for Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, we want to check on the weather conditions right now. Strong winds are raising the fire risk. Thousands of San Diegans have had their power shut off already for public safety. ABC 10 News meteorologist Megan Perry joining us. Megan, how are things looking now?
So let's start with the good news. The worst of the winds are behind us. The winds as we transition into the rest of this afternoon and the evening will be tapering off. But boy, we'd had some strong gusts. Hellhole Canyon last night saw a gust up to 81 miles per hour. Sill Hill and Big Black Mountain, some of our windier spots when Santa Ana winds come through, exceeded 70 mile per hour gusts. Palomar Mountain 65 and Descanso at 52 miles per hour. So that red flag warning is still in effect. As you can see, those winds are still pretty gusty. Big Black Mountain in the far North County, 54 mile per hour gusts right now, near 50 in Otay Mountain. Even all the way to Imperial Beach, we're seeing gusts up to 18 miles per hour. That red flag warning is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. Humidity is going to be hovering around 10%. And with the near record low fuel moisture, the brush out there, any fires that spark will be able to spread quickly, even though the winds are starting to taper off. And because of those windy conditions, power to tens of thousands of people has been shut off. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell talked to one of those businesses who is trying to prepare for just about anything.
Anytime the winds pick up or that sign points towards extreme fire danger, businesses in Pine Valley know they have to prepare for the possibility of power outages. Jeremiah Dean says when a red flag warning is issued, there's a good chance Pine Valley Inn Motel will have to operate without power. Just last week, their power was cut off.
In the morning, we were hoping it would come back on, but it wasn't able to. I wasn't able to make coffee for the guests or whatever.
This week, they haven't made it on SDG&E's shutoff list just yet. But if they do, Jeremiah says they'll be prepared.
We're pretty self-sufficient here. We run the little generators so that it can keep hot water going. They may not have power, but at least we have hot water.
And even though the inn has faced what seems like challenge after challenge because of COVID-19 restrictions, Jeremiah says they'll try to stay positive, knowing power disruption is manageable.
There's more to life than having power. At least we're here. And so if it happens, it happens. You can't change it.
To help the customers that have been impacted by power outages, SDG&E has been hosting these drive-through resource centers where people can get water, snacks, connect to Wi-Fi, and even recharge their devices. Reporting from Pine Valley, Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
Once again today, San Diego Fire Rescue increasing staffing to be prepared in case there is a fire. Extra personnel on hand until 8 tonight. We saw them do this last week as well, and they were able to stop a brush fire in Rancho San Diego before it got out of control. San Diego Fire Rescue says they also need the public's help. They are asking all of us to clear out brush near our homes and have an evacuation plan. We're going to keep an eye on the conditions out there for you, and you can do that as well. If you want to get a real-time forecast for your neighborhood, be sure to download our free ABC 10 News smartphone app. As we have mentioned, a historic moment in the UK this morning, this 90-year-old woman becoming the first person to receive the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine as part of Britain's public rollout. As distribution gets underway overseas, anticipation is growing for the first vaccines to be administered here in the U.S. as well as here in San Diego. ABC 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie spoke with a local doctor and public health expert to find out what we can learn for the rollout here.
Dr. Rodney Hood sits on a number of COVID-19 task forces, including the governor's independent panel, which will review the data from all FDA-approved vaccines. He used his favorite movie, Gladiator, to make a point about what it will take to eliminate COVID-19 in the U.S.
When he was put in the Coliseum, he brought together a lot of other misfit gladiators. and formed a circle and said, I don't know what's coming out of the gate, but I do know if we're going to be successful, we must stick together. And I think that's the same thing with this COVID.
Dr. Hood says messaging and representation will be crucial in convincing people to get the shot, especially with unknowns like long-term data. Skepticism and even wild conspiracy theories sow doubt, particularly in groups that are hardest hit by the virus. Dr. Hood hopes to encourage minorities to get the vaccine by signing up himself and getting other high-profile leaders to do the same.
We need to be the first ones to raise our hand that we're going to take this. But I don't think the message needs to just come from physicians. It needs to come from other trusted messages, faith community, other leaders in the community.
He says the rollout in the UK today is very good news. He, like the rest of the world, will be watching closely. And he'll be on the advisory call with the FDA Thursday, shortly after which the Pfizer vaccine may be approved in the U.S. with first doses ready to go this weekend. Mary McKenzie, ABC 10 News.
Meanwhile, today, the FDA releasing a review of the Pfizer vaccine, which they say does not raise any safety concerns. The FDA also confirming Pfizer's announcement that their vaccine is about 95% effective after the second required dose. The news signaling the vaccine is one step closer to receiving emergency use authorization. The news is also coming amid reports the White House turned down an opportunity to buy millions more doses of that vaccine. Operation Warp Speed experts responding, saying hindsight is 2020. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has the latest.
With the distribution of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine now underway in the UK, the White House is facing new questions about its vaccination planning efforts here in the U.S. ABC News has confirmed a New York Times report saying the Trump administration turned down an offer from Pfizer to buy additional doses of its vaccine this summer, potentially delaying the timeline for tens of millions of Americans to receive the inoculations. This morning, the head of Operation Warp Speed defending that decision.
In the summer, if somebody came to us and said, let's buy more of this vaccine or that vaccine, no one reasonably would buy more from any one of those vaccines because we didn't know which one would work and which one may be better than the other.
The U.S. government decided to purchase 100 million doses of Pfizer's vaccine, enough to vaccinate 50 million Americans because of the two-phase dosage regimen. By contrast, the European Union bought 200 million doses from Pfizer. The news coming as the White House hosts a summit where President Trump is expected to continue touting his administration's success developing a vaccine.
Vaccines are on their way at a level that nobody ever thought possible.
Notably absent from the summit will be Pfizer and Moderna, the two companies closest to getting their vaccines authorized in the U.S., as well as anyone from the incoming Biden administration that will ultimately be overseeing the distribution process. President-elect Biden has voiced concerns the White House is not sharing enough details about its vaccine rollout plan.
There is no detailed plan that we've seen anyway.
Adding to the confusion, President Trump will issue an executive order today that would prioritize Americans' access to a vaccine before the U.S. helps other countries. The move sending a clear America First message, but it's unclear how it would be enforced, since the companies are already doing deals with other countries.
President-elect Biden will be holding his own public health event this afternoon in Wilmington, Delaware, to formally introduce members of his health team who will be in charge of leading the response to the pandemic. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Happening today, the San Diego City Council discussing a request to help certain businesses and places of worship to continue operating outside. There has been a push for local government to help businesses move outside since the summer. In August, Mayor Faulkner issued an order protecting groups from any fees associated with operating in city parks. That order was intended to last 2 months. Well, now those groups are asking the City Council to extend that order and waive fees retroactively, refunding any groups that may have paid them in recent months. The City Council looking at that today, and we'll update you as soon as we know what they decide. As we enter the second day of the regional stay-at-home order, local restaurants, some of them are adjusting to these new restrictions. Jeff Kacha, the owner of Rudford's in North Park, says he's only serving food to go, but not stopping diners from eating their takeout in the restaurant's outdoor dining setup. Kacha says he is losing money every day, and it would cost him less to close. He says he is staying open for his employees.
Adjust our inventory, we adjust our employees, we adjust everything. When that happens 5 times in a row, it's like it's very chaotic. It's like losing your job 5 times.
He asked that customers getting to go remember to tip if they can. 14 officers at Fort Hood have been fired or suspended over the violence on base. Now, 2 generals are among those who've been removed from their jobs. This comes after an investigation into what happened to 25 soldiers assigned to Fort Hood who died from accidents, suicide, and homicide, as in the death of Army Specialist Vanessa Guillen, who investigators say was killed by a fellow soldier. The Army has also ordered policy changes to address leadership failures at the base. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton suing 4 states over their election results. The lawsuit says unlawful constitution changes were made to 2020 election laws in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. State officials in those 4 states being sued say there is no evidence of any election fraud that would change the results.